Hey everybody, Paul Humiller here at Dream Guitars, and today I wanted to talk a bit about how to build a collection of guitars. So of course there's many answers to that question. So what I do when I work with a client is I of course ask them many questions so that I can decide how to help them best. But there's a couple of very popular ways to build a collection, so I'm just going to give you a range of ideas to think about for yourself, and then of course if and when you need my help, just give me a call, me or Logan, and we'll be happy to work with you. Most makers, most custom builders that we work with only make, 150 to maybe 300 guitars their whole career. A few might reach 400 or 500, but that's it. So you're collecting or buying something there's only a couple hundred on the whole planet. So that's where the scarcity comes from and the future value retention comes from. So that's always something you want to think about is, will you be able to get your money back out of guitars? Now, lots of people feel like they lose money on guitars, but I always tell them you're not losing anything. If you buy a guitar and you sell it and you maybe get a little bit less back, but you've had time to enjoy that guitar and play it and hopefully, write songs, make people smile, that's worth something. So I think it's the wrong attitude to think about losing money. But if you buy right, the guitars will actually hold their value or increase. Just this morning, I helped a gentleman who's reselling a collection of guitars that I helped him assemble years ago, and every one of them has gone up 30 or so %. Now, he's buying the best of the best, so that, of course, matters what you're purchasing. Another thing to consider is that during inflationary times, like we're unfortunately beginning to experience now, collectibles and artwork and things that are not tied to the stock market are a great idea. Many financial advisors will tell you that owning commodities, things that are real properties during inflationary times can be good because they're likely to increase when other stock market and things like that might be going down. So every time we have a downturn in the stock market, I wind up having a number of collectors and just wise business people call me, and they'll actually pull money out of the stock market and buy good quality high-end guitars, and they just ride out the inflationary period or the downturn in the stock market with commodities that they know they can resell later and likely make a profit. To recap on that little idea there, basically I think you can worry about future value or not. That's a decision for you. Some people just want player guitars like a Collins Dreadnought and things that'll really be workhorse guitars that they can play in their groups with. Other people are into arch tops. Maybe they want a whole series of different arch tops from different famous makers. So there's lots of ways to go about it. So let's talk about a few other things. One would be someone like myself. I'm a songwriter. So my collection is assembled of different pieces that will inspire me to write music. So as my friend David Wilcox says, I look for guitars that have songs in them. So when I find a guitar, several guitars I own, I bought right here. I was doing a demo with Greg, and I said, Greg, this one speaks to me. I gotta have it. So I have a Michi Matsuda guitar I bought here. I have a Cassini baritone I bought here. And my collection looks like that. It's very disparate types of instruments. A couple of 6 strings, but different sizes and different woods. I have an arch top. I have a nylon string crossover. I have a chumbush turned into a banjo. I have a Weizenborn lap steel, so very different things. And that's a very valid and beautiful way to get inspiration. So if you're a songwriter or someone who just loves to play, but you want to play different things all the time, you should build a collection like that. Other people just have a really set ear. They're very familiar and love the sound of Brazilian rosewood and good spruce, right? So they might build a collection of traditional Martin-style instruments, but get every body size. So maybe they'll have a single O, a double O, a triple O, an OM, a Dreadnought. That's another way to go. If you just really like the sound of Brazilian rosewood or mahogany, but you just want different sizes that, of course, have different body energy, different sounds, again, different inspiration, that's a very cool way to go. Another thing that we do a lot here at Dream Guitars is help people gradually upgrade their collection. So you might have 5 or 6 guitars that are wonderful guitars, but they're maybe on the lower end of collectability or even just tone ability. So you can come to us and we'll take trade-ins. We'll find somebody who that's the perfect guitar for now and help you upgrade into the next level of instrument. And I also would say that on that topic, you're better off to have a couple of the best rather than 20 of the midline guitars. Because again, if you're just thinking about collectability, future value, future desire by other players, the best of the best is always the way to go. So rather than have $23,000 guitars, I would really like to see people upgrade, trade those in, get one or two really great fine guitars. And I can tell you, after I've been doing this so many years, people always are happy they've done it because they don't have all these guitars to take care of that are sort of mediocre and in ways of inspiration and music, and they get one or two babies that just really make them smile every single day, and they never regret it. I also often help people avoid mistakes that could make guitars hard to sell later on. So if you like a really extra thin neck or something like that, just realize that narrows the audience on the resale. I have people who make guitars, beautiful custom guitars, and they put their initials on the fingerboard. Well, clearly that narrows the audience later, or you have to modify the guitar, or they put something very particular of inlay on a guitar rather than something that's more generic with universal appeal. So just think of all those kind of things. If you're building a collection that you want to have future value or just be sellable, you need to be aware that you build something that's universal and going to be loved by many, many people. And then if you're looking at value, meaning future value, and you want something that's going to increase in value, you have to know the makers that are going to do that. So sometimes you can take a bit of a gamble, of course, on newer builders that someone like myself can advise you and say, I think this guy has legs. He looks like the stuff's great. I can tell from the way people are buying his instruments, he's going to do well. So you can get in sometimes on the ground floor of a maker, get one of their first 20 or 30 instruments before they really begin to command the pricing that they might in the future. The other way is to get surefire bets. Lots of people right now are buying Jeff Childe guitars, Jim Olsen guitars, Irvin Samaji guitars, T.J. Thompson guitars, Wayne Henderson guitars. There's lots of very famous makers that you can still buy now, and everybody thinks, well, they're already overpriced. Like, no, they're not. There's just still room to go, especially as they begin to retire. And there's only 400 or 500 of each of them in the world. So there's lots of interesting ways to put together a collection. But I really want to say that I think the best way is to do it by inspiration. To me, you want to get guitars that make you want to pick them up and play them. Don't worry about future value so much, because everything we sell is going to hold value to a very good extent. So again, even if you maybe sell for just a little bit less than you bought it for, you had all that time to enjoy it, and certainly much more fun than a stock certificate. So give us a call here at Dream Guitars, or drop us a line, and we'll be happy to work with you, and we'll make sure we talk to you about your needs and your wishes and build you something really special. So let's collect some guitars together.